Tonight at 7:30 p.m. Manipur, Elusive Peace. On Point of View with Wasbir Hussain. On the panel, Dhiren Sadokpam, Editor-in-Chief, The Frontier Manipur. Professor Thankholal Haukip, JNU, Delhi. Dr. Vom Haukip, Chairman, Internally Displaced Persons Welfare Committee, Churachandpur. Dr. Noni Arambam, Associate Professor, DM University, Imphal.
Point of View with Wasbir Hussain, brought to you by Patanjali Ayurved. Tonight at 7:30, repeat at 10:30 p.m.
প্ৰতিটো পুৱা কৰক পবিত্ৰ আৰু শান্তিময় নামঘৰ ধূপৰ সৈতে সমাজৰ মহিলাসকলক আত্মনিৰ্ভৰশীল কৰাৰ এক প্ৰয়াস নিজ হাতে তৈয়াৰ কৰা সুগন্ধি ধূপকাঠি নামঘৰ ধূপ ভক্তিৰ আচল সুখ
Tonight at 7:30 p.m. Manipur, Elusive Peace. On Point of View with Wasbir Hussain. On the panel, Dhiren Sadokpam, Editor-in-Chief, The Frontier Manipur. Professor Thankholal Haukip, JNU, Delhi. Dr. Vom Haukip, Chairman, Internally Displaced Persons Welfare Committee, Churachandpur. Dr. Noni Arambam, Associate Professor, DM University, Imphal.
Point of View with Wasbir Hussain, brought to you by Patanjali Ayurved. Tonight at 7:30, repeat at 10:30 p.m.
সাফ চিকুণ মানে হৈছে হাইজিন
Coming up from the Northeast Live Studios in Guwahati, Point of View with Wasbir Hussain. Point of View brought to you by Patanjali Ayurved.
Hello and welcome to Point of View, the show that decodes the region and beyond. I am Wasbir Hussain. Yes, viewers, we are once again discussing Manipur today. That is because peace just refuses to return to Manipur. There are several points that we are going to discuss this evening, but let's start with an incident that has sent shockwaves across Manipur and beyond. Mayang Lambam Rishikanta Singh, a 28-year-old Meitei youth. According to local media reports from Manipur, he used to work in Nepal. He had come on leave to meet his Kuki wife who lives in Churachandpur. Now, suddenly, Rishikanta Singh was kidnapped by an unarmed man and he was shot dead from point blank range. The killers released a video later. The killers released a video and that had a slogan, apparently, "No peace, no popular government." Now this video was really disturbing, so we had to blur it completely. Now pictures carried by several media outlets, mostly from Manipur, they showed this Mayang Lambam Rishikanta Singh, this young man with folded hands, apparently, definitely urging his killers to spare him. Now his wife, who is a Kuki, Chingnu Haokip, she claimed, according to the media reports from Manipur, that she had taken permission from organizations like the Kuki National Organization, KNO, which is a platform of militant groups who are currently on a ceasefire, as well as from the Tuibong DHQ. Now, it's a different matter that the KNO has really come up with a release. KNO has issued a statement. Saying that this lady denying completely that no permission was sought from the KNO by this lady, wife of the deceased Chingnu Haokip, has not taken any permission, and neither did the organization have any knowledge of the visit of the deceased, nor was it involved in the incident. This is the basic statement given by KNO. Now several questions arise. I'm going to put these questions because I have a very esteemed panel tonight. But before that, that is one incident that has shattered the supposed calm in Manipur once again. The second point that is kept Manipur on the tipping point is the issue of the internally displaced people. Now the internally displaced people are restive. They have gone on demonstrations and so on. They want to return to the places from where they were uprooted, from where they were displaced. Now, that is easier said than done, as yesterday's incident has only indicated, given an indication. The third point is the government formation. I just don't buy the word popular government, because if there is to be a popular government in Manipur, there has to be represented by all the major communities in Manipur. Now, the 10 Kukizo MLAs, they have been barred, they have been issued a diktat by their civil society organizations like Kuki Inpi and so on, that they should not participate in any government formation process. And they have also not attended any assembly session, or neither they have visited anywhere in the valley in the past almost 3 years since the ethnic violence began on the 3rd of May 2023. The fourth point, and I'll stop at that to begin the discussions, is the issue of talks. Now, the ceasefire with the SOO groups, that is the suspension of operation groups, which are under the banner of the KNO and another organization, the ceasefire was kept in a limbo for long. It was not extended, but in September last year, September 2025, the ceasefire was extended with the SOO groups. And ever since the ceasefire was extended in September, already 2 rounds of talks have taken place, and these talks from the central government's side, it was represented by the central government's representative, that is A.K. Mishra. Now, this is the backdrop in which we are having this discussion tonight. I have with me, joining me from Imphal, is Mr. Dhireng Sadokpam, is the editor-in-chief of the Frontier Manipur. I have with me Dr. Vumkhone Haokip. He is a doctor. He is the chairman, Internally Displaced Persons Welfare Committee from Churachandpur. I have with me Dr. Noni Arambam, associate professor of the DM University in Imphal, and also likely to join me from New Delhi is Professor Thongkholal Haokip from the Center for the Study of Law and Governance at the Jawaharlal Nehru University. Gentlemen, welcome to Point of View. Let me go straight to you. First, let me go to Mr. Dr. Vumkhone Haokip, Chairman, Internally Displaced Persons Welfare Committee. Dr. Haokip, that incident where, whether it is a Kuki, Métis or any community, that's a different matter. But here is a young man who works in a foreign country. He comes on leave, wants to visit his wife, who incidentally happens to be a Kuki, and the boy incidentally happens to be a Métis. He comes to meet his wife in Churachandpur. He was kidnapped by gunmen and he was killed. And that has, at a time when organizations like the KNO have already held 2 rounds of talks with the government of India, apparently to look for a solution. And as well as there were also talks between the civil society on both sides. That's a separate talks going on. At least 1 or 2 rounds of talks have already taken place. Of course, the talks have not proceeded further for a very long time. Now, I know you are concerned about the displaced people, but first of all, let's have a general sense. What do the people think about this killing?
Wasbir, as far as I am concerned, I am a doctor and my duty is to heal, not to hurt. Okay? So I am against any killing. I believe that killing doesn't bring any good to anybody, be it a Meitei or be it a Kuki-Zo. I don't approve killing. But this particular incident, I should say, is very unfortunate because now the situation is this that there is hatred between the two communities. If I or somebody belonging to Kuki community, if they go to Imphal side also, it's likely that they may be harmed and also killed. So this is the situation, and this the couple also, I think they are very much aware of this. Then why should that gentleman came to meet his wife here in Churachandpur? They could have met in Shillong or Guwahati or somewhere else. I know that for the couple it's necessary to meet for many other things, family matters, or the husband being working in Nepal, he could have taken his wife to Nepal. Then nothing will happen there. So I really wonder why this gentleman had come to our side, crossing the buffer zone and got killed. I don't justify the killing, but I can't understand this episode.
Okay, let me go to Dr. Noni Arambam, Associate Professor. Dr. Noni Arambam, you know, we are talking to the government of India to find a solution. We are talking to the government of India to find a solution, and lot of people, organizational leaders, and Dr. Vumkone Haukip has also just said, it means that the young man Rishikanta Singh, Mayang Lambam Rishikanta Singh, they appears as if the other side says that it was a violation of the buffer zone. Why should he go to Churachandpur to meet his wife? He could have met in a third place. Now if this has to continue forever, no Meitei can ever go to any Kuki area even to meet his wife and children. I don't know whether he had children. And no Kuki should come to the valley to meet anybody, to meet his friends, loved ones, family members. So what is going on? We are in the 21st century. Do we believe in dialogue? If we don't believe in dialogues, then what is the point in talking? So these are serious matters. What do you think?
Thank you, Wasbir, for this wonderful discussion. First of all, I think I have to retract from what Dr. Haukip had just said. It's very unfortunate that, we are trying to kind of, people would be probably misled if we say that in the valley of Manipur there are no Kukis. In my own locality, I have a couple of Kuki, ladies, who got married to Meitei brothers, and they are very much happily staying in my own locality, got children, and they're very safe here. And you must have seen a lot of, Thadav community already coming to Imphal, and they're here already. So I think it's completely wrong to say that, the Kukis can't really come to the valley. The second point is that I have got students from Kangpokpi and many other places who have been telling me, texting me that they're coming to Imphal and they're buying things from Imphal and going back to their villages. So I think we should be happy that people are beginning to come to the valley and having access to the airport and even to the market. That's one aspect of the issue. And that reality has to be informed to the entire world that the valley at least is preparing for normalcy. It is very unfortunate that one person has been abducted and killed in a cold-blooded manner. And it was very, very concerning that in some of these hill areas, law and order is just not working, because we can see these AK-47 rifle welding youths roaming freely and abducting protecting people. And we have heard the cry of that cookie lady whose husband has been just got killed yesterday. And if you see why the optics of the violence is circulated, I think the answer is that it is exactly done intentionally, because if you see the subtitles being given there, no popular government, now something like that, you can see that these optics are circulated with us with a political intention to kind of destabilize whatever peace processes, whatever normalcy that the people of Manipur was gaining and has been gaining. So my concern is that this weaponization of narratives that we are completely separated is purely wrong, and it is very unfortunate that we are not even allowing the civilians to talk to each other,
Right.
meet each other.
Okay.
So I think I expected Wasbir Hussain to intervene when people are saying that people are completely divided. It's not like that.
Okay.
So I think, finally, what I want to say is that we should stop. We should stop these weaponizing narrative. We should stop these, celebration of violence. And I think law must perform its duty by, holding these people accountable. And it is very surprising that the civil society organizations from these particular hill areas have not condemned this violence, because this is a blatant violation of human rights. And this is not something that we
Noni,
should
I'll come back
accept.
to you. I'm also now joined by Professor Thongkolal Haokip from New Delhi. I'll go to Professor Thongkolal Haokip, but quickly, since Dhiren Sadokpam, editor-in-chief of the Frontier Manipur, Dhiren, welcome to the show once again. Ms. Dhiren Sadokpam, basically what we are witnessing is that it seems it is now clear that some organizations are interested in peace, and some individuals and groups, even organized groups, may not be interested in peace, as Noni Arambam has said. So, do you think that's a dangerous trend? Because if this continues, it's a clear message. The chilling manner, the video which was released, and the shooting that took place in front of the camera, that was definitely deliberate attempt. That looks like a deliberate attempt to send out a message that all is not well, and things have not come back to square one. Things are not normal, and status quo is not going to be tolerated. Is that the message? What do you think?
Yes, Wasbir. I think I've listened to Dr. Hokip and also Dr. Noni, and you are absolutely right. I think we seem to be heading, we seem to be heading to a space where, there is, sustainable and durable peace settlement remains a little distant, are persistently out of reach actually for everyone, despite efforts to achieve what normally we understand as peace actually is. That's why I think you have aptly titled, Elusive Peace. And I think, Dr. Noni had, indirectly pointed out that, things are not, in terms of describing the event as well as response to the event. But let me go a little beyond that. And I'm sure there are spoilers, okay, to be very honest, there are spoilers who seem to be sabotaging every forms of negotiation or every forms of peace initiatives. And why they're doing it, I think precisely because they want to have, they want to achieve some specific goals and objectives, and that has to be very sure, because otherwise, to be very honest, Noni had repeatedly said also, with the kind of a caption to it that no popular government and all that. Forget the popular government for a while, but for me, I think peace is a requirement, but we are gradually, despite, the intensity has maybe died down, but the kind of a brutal enactment of that cruelty and, the kind of a the kind of a violence that we got to see in the recent, I don't want to describe it or rerun the whole descriptions that you have done, because it's shocking rather, So I think, we are into some kind of a thing, but I think there are spoilers who want to resort to violence to derail talks and also to actually fragment the voices that Noni had mentioned, the voices of kind of a moderation, the moderate voices, and also the voices of peace that has been already emerging from the valley as well as the hills. With respect, cutting across party lines, cutting across ideological divide. There had been a kind of emergence of what I call the moderate views, as because all of us are agreeing that we should not kill. I think even Dr. Hawkins said that he doesn't believe, as a doctor, he doesn't believe in,
Right.
he believes
I'll
in
come back to
healing,
you.
but
I'll come
not
back
in
to you,
killing,
Dhiren.
okay?
Let
So
me-
I think this, yeah.
I'll come
So
back to you.
The spoilers are actually spoiling the whole
Okay.
show. Actually,
Let me go to New Delhi. I'm joined by Professor Thongkolal Hauke from JNU. Professor Hauke, do you think that the moderate voices hardly have any say now? It is the hardliners who are calling the shots, and we don't know who these hardliners are. The KNO has issued the statement. They are saying they are not involved. This is the statement of the KNO, but they have not clearly condemned the incident also. They said that this lady, wife of the deceased, has not taken permission from them, as reported in some media. But my question is not that. My question is that whether do you think the hardliners are calling the shots, and if this continues, the peace in Manipur is unlikely to return in the near future. Do you subscribe to this view?
Before I answer to your question, let me first introduce certain constitutional tax which is very much necessary for maintaining order in this state. Before going to that, I would like to read out Article 37, which is a directive principle of state policy, which directs the state to. It states that the state shall strive to promote the welfare of the people by securing and protecting as effectively as it may a social order in which justice, social, economic, and political shall inform all the institutions of the national life. So that's what the directive principle instructs, the holder of the state, the political executive. And what we have seen since 3rd May 2023 is that the political executive has failed, and this state called Manipur has turned from a multicultural state into a ethnocentric state, which I have repeatedly said in the last few years. So in order to turn this state into a so-called an orderly manner, organized in such a way that there are multicultural values and other constitutional orders are functioning. We need to reorganize this state, and to come to that, many people have been shouting for a kind of a political settlement, right? If you look into the role of the state since the colonial times, even the colonial state, the East India Company or the British Raj, the first objective of the state was to maintain law and order. And after independence, it's not just the law and order that the state has enjoyed itself. It's the welfare state that we are into today. And we are struggling to maintain the law and order in Manipur. That's the core issue. And if we are not able to maintain the law and order issue, then the state has been transformed into an ethnocentric state.
In short, Professor Thongkolal Hauke, in short, you want to put the entire blame on the government and not on the society. No one is responsible except the government. That's what you are saying.
No, not exactly. Since the political executive has failed, now many sections of the society have turned radical. And if you look into Manipur, since the second term of Unbearable Singh, you would find many radical groups have been groomed, like Arambai Tengol, Meitei Lipun, who have been training in, ideologically feeding the young people. There has been the kind of state that we have observed in the second tenure of Unbearable Singh, and that has to be questioned and that has to be put into place. But however, that's too late for now. The Kukizo feel that they are insecure in this state, and some form of political settlement is needed so that the two communities exist peacefully as a neighbor, right, in different form of political and administrative mechanism.
No, I'll go for a break, but before that, before I let you go, Professor Thongkolal Hauke, when you say that the two communities, they should work towards living peacefully, can they live peacefully under the banner of Manipur, or can they live peacefully according to you as separate entities?
That has to be resolved through dialogue, and I think at this juncture, Manipur needs a certain form of political settlement, which can come in the form of administrative as well as other mechanisms which are guaranteed through the constitutional.
All right. So
measures.
dialogue. You are emphasizing on dialogue. I'll go for a short break. Don't go away. When I come back, I'll go to Dr. Vumkone Hauke and try to understand the feelings of the IDPs and lots more. I'll be right back.
নালাগেও দাঁতৰ বিষ মোৰ যিহেৰে তই ব্ৰাছ কৰ সেইটো জুট পেষ্ট তই কিহেৰে কৰ সেই আছা মই ব্ৰাছ কৰো দানকান্তিৰে ই সাধাৰণ টুথপেষ্ট নহয় টুথপেষ্ট হয়
আকাৰকাৰা লং পিপলিৰ দৰে 16বিধ আয়ুৰ্বেদিক তত্ত্বৰ মিশ্ৰণ যি দাঁতৰ ক্ষয় কেভিটি পাইৰিয়াৰ বিৰুদ্ধে যুঁজে আৰু দাঁত আৰু আলু কৰি ৰাখে প্ৰাকৃতিকভাৱে শক্তিশালী
গুড ডে কিহৰ কাৰণে আহি গল এই চেলেৰি আহি গল এদিন আগতে ডাঙৰ মুহূৰ্তলৈ কিয় কৰে ৱেট সৰু এটা পলু হ'ব পাৰে গ্ৰেট গুড ডেৰ সৈতে কৰক চেলিব্ৰেট
এয়া হৈছে মোৰ নৰ্থ ইষ্ট ইয়াৰ জীৱন ইমান সহজ নহয় সেইবাবে ইয়াৰ মানুহে সহজতে হাৰ নামানে আৰু এই মাটিতেই জন্ম হৈছে ষ্টাৰ চিমেণ্ট হৰ ঘৰ মে ষ্টাৰ
চেছ শিকিবলৈ চেন্নাই কিয় যাব লাগে
দেউতা এই বাটাৰ কুকিলৈ শাইন সুগাৰৰ এটা স্পেচিয়েল লেয়াৰৰ পৰা আহে তেন্তে এই বাটাৰ কুকিজৰ বাবে আমিও কিবা এটা স্পেচিয়েল কৰিব লাগিব নহয় যাতে এইও শাইন কৰিব পাৰে সানফিষ্টৰ নতুন মমছ মেজিক শাইনছ মচমচীয়া বাটাৰ কুকিজ সুগাৰ গ্লেজিঙৰ সৈতে নতুন মমছ মেজিক শাইনছ
পবিত্ৰ আৰু শান্তিময় নামঘৰ ধূপৰ সৈতে সমাজৰ মহিলাসকলক আত্মনিৰ্ভৰশীল কৰাৰ এক প্ৰয়াস নিজ হাতে তৈয়াৰ কৰা সুগন্ধি ধূপকাঠি নামঘৰ ধূপ ভক্তিৰ আচল সুখ
চাফ চিকুণ মানে হৈছে হাইজিন মাহৰ সেই দিনকেইটাত হাইজিনৰ লগতে আৰামৰ প্ৰয়োজন নহয়নে একো টেনচন নোলোৱাকৈ কাম কৰিব মন নাযায়নে এতিয়া আৰু মনে মনে নাথাকি চুজ কৰক
অত্যাধিক পাতল আৰু কোমল ছালৰ বাবে উপযোগী ডাঙৰ পাখিযুক্ত পেড যি 8 ঘণ্টা আপোনাৰ সৈতে আপোনাৰ বন্ধু হৈ থাকিব 3টা সাইজত উপলব্ধ
আদিয়া জৰুৰী
সুস্থ নাৰী সুস্থ সমাজ
আপোনাৰ মুখত যদি দাগ বা চিন নাথাকে তেন্তে আপুনি অনুভৱ কৰে পাৰ্থক্য আত্মবিশ্বাসৰ আপোনাৰ বিজয় আৰু গৌৰৱৰ গ্লোৰ পৰা গ্লোৰীলৈকে এই যাত্ৰাৰ বাবে পতঞ্জলি আনিছে ফেচ ৱাছৰ ৰেঞ্জ য'ত আছে হনি নিম আমন কেশৰ তুলসী চন্দন এলোভেৰা আদিৰ গুণ পতঞ্জলি ফেচ ৱাছ বঢ়ায় আপোনাৰ আত্মবিশ্বাস
গুড ডে কিহৰ কাৰণে আহি গল এই চেলেৰি আহি গল এদিন আগতে ডাঙৰ মুহূৰ্তলৈ কিয় কৰে ৱেট সৰু এটা পলু হ'ব পাৰে গ্ৰেট গুড ডেৰ সৈতে কৰক চেলিব্ৰেট
আশীৰ্বাদে 6500 আৰু অধিক বাছনি কেন্দ্ৰৰ পৰা কেহু বাছি লয় 3বাৰ তন্নকৈ চাফা কৰে হাতেৰে স্পৰ্শ নকৰাকৈ স্বাস্থ্যবিধি সন্মত পেকেজিং কৰে প্ৰয়োজনীয় পৰিপুষ্টি লাভ কৰে যাৰ দ্বাৰা ৰুটি হৈ উঠে পুষ্টিৰে ভৰপূৰ আশীৰ্বাদ এডভান্টেজ প্ৰতিদিন
ঘৰলৈ লৈ আহক সম্পূৰ্ণ নতুন আশীৰ্বাদ বগা আটা উত্তম সোৱাদ প্ৰতিবাৰ
চাফ চিকুণ
Welcome back. Dr. Vumkone Hauke, you head an organization called the Internally Displaced Persons Welfare Committee in Churachandpur. Now, tell me, tell me, okay, Dr. Bhumkane Haukip is not there. Now, my point is, let me once again go to Noni Arambam. Dr. Noni Arambam, you know, now we have seen in the last couple of months the internally displaced people, more than 50,000 of them. Some of them have gone to the prefabricated houses, but most of the people are not interested in going back to these prefabricated houses. They want to go back to those original places from where they were uprooted, right? But is it easier said than done? Because yesterday's incident is being interpreted as a violation of the buffer zone by cookie organizations and individuals. They said buffer zone, but officials are telling me that these are only conflict zones identified, you know, where the two communities are face to face, where these are regarded as vulnerable zones and security forces are deployed. There is technically, officially nothing called a buffer zone. This is what the officials have briefed me. Now, that's a different issue. It's a question of nomenclature. But my point is, whether yesterday's incident is going to make the, you know, chances of the IDPs returning to their original homes even more remote and absolutely impossible.
Of course, I think that is going to be a big challenge. Secondly, I think the whole term buffer zone doesn't exist, and the Honorable Governor has already clarified on that, and it is unconstitutional term as far as within the country is concerned. So it doesn't just exist. Third point is that, you know, people want to go back home. The only thing is that there are elements who are intimidating these IDPs, right? So their voices probably will not be heard much in the media or in the social.
Okay, we have lost that connection with Noni Arambam. We'll go to Dr. Bhumkane. Dr. Bhumkane Haukip. You know, I was asking this question initially to you, but I had asked this to Noni Arambam. Now, do you think that you know, the internally displaced people who wants to go back to their original homes from where they are uprooted? Now, after yesterday's incident, this question of people going back to their original homes has become almost next to impossible.
Yeah, it appears like that because the divide, the hatred is so deep down. Even I'm displaced from Imphal. I love my home. I love my locality. I want to go back very much. But then practically, that is not going to happen soon. This is unfortunate to say.
It is not going to happen soon, but do you still hope that it is going to happen?
Wasbir, I'm really wondering why the government is not starting any dialogue. So there is a saying that every problem has a solution. It is not that the Meitei and the Kukizo crisis has reached a deadlock. I think if we try, there will be always a solution.
No.
And then government is not starting any dialogue or discussion.
With whom? Dialogue with whom?
I feel.
No, dialogue, you are saying that government is not starting a dialogue. But the dialogue with whom? Between who and who?
Dialogue with the people level. Government, tripartite government and the people from both sides. They should be
people, but some people, most people are even not, the organizations are not even willing to sit face to face. There were some cookie organizations and some Meitei civil society organizations went to Delhi for talks. They were reluctant to meet face to face. There was one photo opportunity, of course. They had a cup of tea together, but they were not willing to sit face to face. And as far as political dialogue is concerned, the government is already talking to the Sioux groups. I am talking from the cookie point of view. On the cookie side, as you know, the Sioux has been authorized by the cookie groups to talk on the political issues. Talk is already going on.
There is there, but I appeal that talk should be at civil level also, public level also, so that we can mold the people's concept and ideas. There are not that crisis has no option. There are other options also. Suppose the cookies demand is UT, and if UT is not possible, there may be another option. If Meitei's demand is ST, if that is not possible, there could be another options also. We have to explore options, and I think we should start dialogue.
But people are not. But Dr. Haukip, I'm coming to you, Dhiren Sadokpam, in a minute. But Dr. Haukip, people are not tolerating even one single individual visiting his wife. People are not tolerating even one single man going to meet his wife, and he has been shot dead.
There is individual level, then the mindset, the public mindset or the situation has to be made conducive politically. Then only individual level will come down. Now the political level is boiling, and individual level we cannot expect to happen things normal.
Okay, Dhiren Sadokpam, when one individual cannot travel from one place to another, do you think the so-called popular government initiative move, which we hear in the media from time to time, oh, we should have a popular government, do you think it is going to ever happen? Okay, there will be elections in 2027, people will be elected, there will be Kuki MLAs will be elected in the Kuki heartland, Naga MLAs will be elected in the Naga dominated areas, in the valley Meitei MLAs will be elected. But when the government formation comes, if the political settlement does not happen by then, the organizations will bar the Kuki MLAs from joining the government. Then what happens?
Wasbir, I think you are asking some very relevant question. But see, the entire things that we are seeing today, I mean, the violence has been going on in Manipur for the last almost 3 years. And to be precise, and as of today, I was just calculating it, it's 2 years, 8 months and 2 weeks, okay? It have passed. So nothing has happened, which basically means there's something, not right about the conflict that we are seeing. So having said this, I would also agree to some extent with what Dr. Haukip has just said, that there should be some form of dialogue other than the government. When I say government, the government of India, okay? I'm not saying, government of India, we have always treated this as a kind of a third party. So people have both from Kuki side as well as from the Meitei side or from whoever side, we have always said that, New Delhi needs to act. But this central concept, of a kind of a conflict resolution has been turned into some kind of a conflict perpetuation and, or management, but never at the level of resolution. So, for instance, all of us, we say people, like you were stating it also, that people are not ready. What do you mean by people? Is absolutely the mandate is with the central government as of now. If they want to control the violence, they can control it. If they want to, lift the whole idea of this buffer zones that was just being thrown up, even if they have officially denied it, these are all conflict identified zones. Okay, for the timing, let's agree that they are conflict identified zones. But other than, the settlement about IDPs going back to their homes is virtually impossible. The MPs are on the so-called representative from Dr. Bimol here, right? Going to some kind of he's forget going to Sujanpur or elsewhere, but even in the peripheries of the so-called valley where he represents, he can't even go there. So what I'm trying to say is all this can be made possible with the kind of a well-intentioned approach to conflict, at least management. I'm not even asking for, kind of a resolution, okay? So instead of conflict management, we are, completely going backwards into something called a conflict perpetuation. And that is precisely, or to be very precise, is New Delhi's inability to intervene and solve the issues, okay? I squarely blame on New Delhi precisely because...
Let me bring in...
the state cannot, there must be, listen, this is one point I want to emphasize, because, we have seen for the last more than almost 3 years that, the state government as well as both the sides, so-called the conflicted sides, are unable to find a way out. So the onus is now on the government of India. How do they control so-called even the Sioux groups or the ceasefire groups or the so-called the warring communities?
No,
how do we control it?
Okay,
or is there
fine.
any other way?
Let me bring in Professor Thankolal Haukip. Mr. Thankolal Haukip, the Kuki organizations have sort of authorized the SOO groups to hold talks with the government of India to bring about a political solution. Now, what is the political demand of the Kuki-Zo community? They want a union territory status, because I have a copy of the minutes of the meeting held in Lungthu. This was attended by representatives of SOO groups, Kuki-Zo Council and members of the legislative assemblies. So, this was a meeting attended by both the political elected representatives plus the civil society groups plus the group representing the militant groups. Now, this represents the entire Kuki-Zo society. Now, what is the resolution they have taken? They have taken that nobody should participate in the government formation until the demand for political settlement, union territory is achieved. And they have given a timeline, and they've said that this issue has to be resolved before the general elections of 2027. Now, again, this is the political demand of the Kuki-Zo community. Now, already talks are going on. The SO groups have already held 2 rounds of talks. Now, this kind of a demand, you have seen the Naga peace talks, it's going on for 30 years. Now, this is also a political demand. They are demanding a union territory. So, we cannot expect this solution to come about in 1 year or 6 months. Now, when talks are going on, do you think peace is not a prerequisite for that? Whether groups like the KNO, there are hardliner groups now. The KNO is a ceasefire group. New hardliner groups have emerged on the scene, and they don't want people like the KNO and others to take the credit. Is it a possibility as well?
Wasbir, if we keep on delaying these forms of political negotiations and solutions, I think like the Naga peace process, new groups will emerge, and splinter groups may re-emerge from those groups again. So this is the process that we observe in the Naga peace process also. So it is incumbent upon New Delhi to engage these groups seriously now, so that different forms of factions and others may not re-emerge in future, so that permanent peace could be achieved. But before that, I would like to answer regarding how an unfortunate incident happened yesterday. In a few months back, I've mentioned about the buffer zone is a form of emergency, governance mechanism. And as about a year back, you would have also remembered about a certain Indian Army, ex-army officer, Limpulan Mate, who was also crossing the Kampopi, Sekmai buffer area, and he was also killed. So this is the situation. And in this situation, until certain lasting pieces arrive, buffer zone is a kind of, an emergency mechanism to ensure that no innocent life is lost. And we should not critique, the Indian Army or any other, state agencies for maintaining all this, because in the coming years, until lasting peace is achieved, this zone will ensure that peace is maintained, no innocent life is lost in these areas. So that's one thing. And, the only solution, for instance, in Manipur crisis, is to treat the case in Manipur as a special case, because unlike the Naga peace process, there was no, conflict at large, like as we have observed in the scale in Manipur. So we have to treat this situation as a special case and consider certain political concessions to both the groups in the near future.
Let me
in order to bring about a certain solution.
Yeah, let me bring in Dr. Noni Arambam. Dr. Noni Arambam, let's listen to a bite. Let's listen to what a BJP MLA from Manipur, Y. Khemchand. Y. Khemchand has, very, very confidently said that there is a foreign hand that is not allowing peace to return to Manipur. Before I seek your comment, let's listen to what Y. Khemchand had said recently.
Violence, it is critical juncture, made me suspect that the foreign agencies, external hands, could be trying to take advantage of the ongoing conflict of Manipur to foment further trouble. The fresh violence
Okay, Noni, Dr. Noni Arambam, you see, while Khemchand is a BJP leader, BJP MLA, and she said that, foreign agencies or foreign hand could be trying to take advantage of the unrest in Manipur and giving new twists to the whole situation, not allowing peace to return. I mean, can we dismiss this allegation outright? Can we dismiss this claim outright as something which is not necessary to be considered?
Two things are important. First, if you remember what Mr. Amit Said said in the parliament in the very initial days of the crisis in Manipur, he hinted to this very fact that foreign hands are probably there. And secondly, Manipur being a border state, you cannot deny the involvement of foreign hands, and you don't have a fencing here. You have seen trans-border movement of people. You have seen geopolitics. You have seen tension in Myanmar. So I think it is very evident that we have serious, trans-border question. If you talk about poppy, and if you talk about the amount of, drugs being caught daily in Mizoram, in Manipur, in Assam, it's all evident that there are foreign elements coming into the region, and it can really engulf the region into a very serious conflict situation. That's one aspect. The other aspect is that I'm very happy that Professor Thankalal was talking about rule of law and law and order. But I think we cannot ask our citizens to wait for 3 years and plus that normalcy will come sometime. Until then, you keep in your own cocoon or in your own specified zones. It's just not possible. It's just not acceptable, because you have to at least ensure that the people can move freely. You must at least ensure that these criminals and the miscreants don't abduct people and kill people in this manner. So I think there has to be some accountability if we're going to talk about law and order. May it be in the valley or may it be in the Kuki areas. So I think that should be very clear. What I think is that the problem is, of course, any kind of dialogue is important. All forms of dialogues are important. I'm happy that Dr. Hauke had talked about dialogue, which is very important. The important thing is that the culture of impunity, the culture of intimidation that you have seen. I wanted Wasbir to raise this point. Why the MLS had to go and say that the Sioux will handle the problem. Why the civil societies had to say that the Sioux parties will handle it. This is something like deadening of the civil society. On the one side, this deadening of civil society in any area is not good for democracy. It's not good for inter-community dialogue. So therefore, problem in Manipur should be viewed beyond ethnic territorialization of the state, because I think we are coming back to the same problem in terms of dividing the people in the name of religion or in the name of ethnicity, which is completely infeasible. Because Professor Thankalal had talked about in the very initial time today that Manipur is a multi-ethnic state. And I have also talked about the overlapping areas where people used to live together. You cannot simply divide people in the name of some ethnic, legislative process. So I want to say the state has a huge responsibility, and I kind of suspect that there is an evident complicity of the institutions of law, because how this person was kidnapped and what is the situation of the family concerned, and who will be delivering the justice in this situation.
Right.
So
right.
I think all this has to be stopped.
Absolutely.
I think law and order has to be brought back to the state of Manipur.
But another thing, I'm coming to you, Dr. Vumkone Hauke. I'll come to you now, but let me, what is the problem as far as Manipur is concerned is that for President's rule is going to be 1 year now. Next month, it will be 1 year of President's rule in the state. Now, we don't know what the police or the authorities are doing in Churachandpur after this young man has been killed, because the governor does not speak, the DGP does not speak. I don't know whether the governor has any advisors. There is a chief secretary, nothing comes, no information and public relation press releases come. So nobody knows whether any action is being taken at all. So now that does not give any confidence to the people. Now after a major incident, whether it is in Assam, whether it is in any part, whether if there is a major incident takes place, the authorities speak. They tell us that these are the action. Of course, as journalists, as media, we cannot expect the authorities to tell us everything. Authorities cannot tell us for security reasons. They cannot give us the leads to all the extent because that will harm their interest. But basic information needs to be disseminated to the people. That is not happening in Manipur. That is for the record. Now let me go to Dr. Vumkone Haukip. Dr. Haukip, now you see, if the SOO, if the Sioux groups can talk to resolve the political solution as far as the Kuki areas are concerned, don't you think peace is a prerequisite for any kind of a solid political dialogue? Suppose, assuming Dr. Haukip, Vumkone Haukip, suppose tomorrow the center concedes your demand for a union territory. Suppose a union territory is formed. Are you going to live in hostility, or do you think overnight everything will be friendly and oh hi, we have got a union territory and from tomorrow we will go to Imphal and you will have a capital maybe in Churachandpur and then everything will be hunky-dory? Do you think that is going to happen, or you are going to live forever in hostility?
Wasbir, you are right, and we are theoretically right, but practically something is happening. That is the whole problem. So to me, I feel that this problem is more of a political in nature, and it requires a political solution. That is why the three major communities living together in Manipur, the Nagas, the Kukis, the Meiteis. The Nagas have their own aspiration, their own demands. The Kukis have their own aspiration, their own demands. Same with the Meiteis also. Then my suggestion is, why don't we politically try to solve this problem permanently? So now if the government of India is waiting and let it be a natural, let it take a natural process and a natural that it may take centuries or decades together. That's why I suggest that we should break the ice, we should start talking. So the government can have many options. If someone is demanding union territory, if that is possible, if not possible, what is the next option? If somebody is demanding ST, if possible, okay. If not possible, what is the next option? So options are there available. For example, Meghalaya model. The three major tribes, the Khasis, Jaintias, and the Garos, they have their own autonomy and they are living peacefully, and the Meghalaya state is integrity is protected. That is also a very good example. Why don't government come up with some ideas and some new concepts and some new programs and policies? Why it's been just waiting for almost 3 years. I am also one of the displaced persons, and we are suffering. And every day.
Okay, my last question to you. I've got very little time. I'll come to all the three other panelists. Dr. Vumkone Haukip, do you think if the Sioux can talk to the government of India, can Sioux talk to organizations like Arambai Tengol and try to bring about some kind of a peace on the ground? Do you think that is also a good idea?
That I cannot say, but if they do it, also no harm, because for peaceful resolution, everything should be done. Everything should be done, in fact.
Okay, everything should be done for peace, but that is what is not happening. Dhiren Sadokpam, your final comments. What is the road ahead now? Where do we go from here? I myself personally, I don't see any breakthrough coming in the near future. Dhiren Sadokpam, Dhiren, what do you think?
Wasbir, I absolutely agree with you. And this has happened precisely because of New Delhi's. I always say New Delhi. Why? Because New Delhi has not been able to, intervene effectively or solve the issue at all. And he's been trying to just manage it. So he has never took the role of a resolver. So how do we address? At the end of the day, it's New Delhi that operates actually. At the operational level is New Delhi. If they want to define buffer zone, they define it according to their, if they say that there's no buffer zone, they say it's a kind of idea. Everything has been defined. So for me, I think until unless if New Delhi is not sincere about resolving this issue and just acting like, even not a full-time manager, but acting like
no,
a manager.
can New Delhi force people to come and force them to sit face to face if they are not willing to do so?
Exactly, they have the mandate. They have the mandate to disarm groups. Who is going to disman? The whole idea of security, India is such a kind of superpower, and 3 years down the line, are you trying to argue that India is unable to solve?
Okay.
With the kind of a power that, global power, kind of status that India has, unable to solve an internal crisis like this.
Yeah, sorry, Dhiren, I'm just running short of time. That's why I cut you. Otherwise, I'd have loved to continue. Professor Thankolal Haukip, your final comments. What is the road ahead? Very briefly though.
Wasbir, if you are asking me as an academic, as a cookie academic, I would say that in the last 3 decades, the cookies have been pushed out from the Naga dominated areas 30 years ago. Now we have been pushed out from Imphal Valley in the last conflict, and now the 3 communities are segregated in their own areas. So New Delhi has to look into that way and then create 3 administrative structures, so that after this kind of structures are created constitutionally, then I think the 3 communities can respect one another, come together, and then live peacefully.
Okay. Now, Noni Arambam, why should the Métis have problems in having 3 administrative structures, one for the Métis, one for the Cookies, and one for the Nagas? Why should the Métis have a problem to that?
Wasbir, let us not reduce this question to Meitei problem. The valley of Manipur is inhabited by almost all the communities, and you know it very well. Only 4% land is habitable, right? The other point is that, I have not seen our respected panelists. All the panelists should have condemned yesterday's heinous crime, killing of an innocent. It should have come by now, but it didn't come probably, I think. But that's something I think we need to work on. The other point is that, of course, this is not a Meitei problem. You have to understand the history of Manipur in a very, very vivid manner. You talk about 1947, all the communities were happily writing a constitution together, as we all know. So I think Manipur is not like all other states of the country. Every state has its own distinct history and people living together. And, if somebody is going to say that people can't resettle, that's a violation of the constitution. But because people are marching on the road saying that we want to go home, who are you? Who are they? Who are we to say that you can't come back unless we are given something like separate administration? You can't do that. Whatever you say in terms of political demand, it's okay. But you cannot hold people in hostage for your political ends. Finally, I think we should ensure some civility in our democratic movements. We cannot be having double standards. We have to protect our civility. We have to protect our democratic spaces, where intimidation culture has to be stopped. If we say that human rights is only for one particular community and human rights is not there to be for the other community, that is going to be wrong. So I hope that there are. And finally, one last sentence. I want to clarify again, there is a lot of engagements at the level of civil society, at the level of public. Today itself, I was saying in the very beginning, a lot of Kuki women are settled in the valley. They're happily here. And we have been talking to a lot of students from the communities, and they are willing to live peacefully. And who are we to
Absolutely. This is a very sensitive issue at the end of the day. The situation in Manipur is tense, to say the least. Peace just does not come back. Whenever there is any semblance of sanity, semblance of peace coming, some other sensational incident takes place that shatters the apparent calm in the troubled state. Now, it is not it's not enough to leave everything to the government. The civil society has to step in. And now, if the civil society fails, we know that the civil society is also divided in Manipur on ethnic lines. Even then, if the civil society fails to contribute their bit to bring back peace in the state, hardliners will take over, and these hardliners can well become Frankenstein monsters, and then that will be even more deadlier. On that note, I would like to thank my esteemed panelists tonight for joining the program, and the viewers for watching the show. Good night and goodbye.
7 ঘণ্টা আপোনাৰ সৈতে আপোনাৰ বন্ধু হৈ থাকিব 3টা সাইজত উপলব্ধ
আদিয়া জৰুৰী
সুস্থ নাৰী সুস্থ সমাজ
মায়ে নিজ হাতেৰে মঠি উলিওৱা ঘিৰ দৰে সুস্বাদু আৰু স্বাস্থ্যসন্মত পতঞ্জলি গাই গৰুৰ দেশী ঘি খাওক নিজৰ পৰিয়ালক ভেজালকৰণৰ বিহৰ পৰা ৰক্ষা কৰক